Respect.
How are you?
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too. We ran into each other at the Maryland Film Festival. You just sprang out of like nowhere. You pounced and with a big smile on your face, and I was appreciated that you remembered me.
Of course, man.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. It's driving me crazy. I should have looked this up. Anyway, he said, "You got to see this film. It's on YouTube." This guy Khalik Allah, it was your earlier film, Filmmakers, and I watched it on YouTube, and then we met, and then you probably had the roof. Maybe I don't know if there was a screening set up yet. Do you know?
At that time, yeah.
Who cares? You had but in quick succession, you'd be in the rooftop, the true false.
Yeah.
And it started with this momentum. And now you have your second film, which seems to be as big as the first.
Man, it's been a blessing. That's all I can say, man. Like, unexpected, and it's what you want. It's what you wish that get that type of reception. But when you're making a second project, you got a lot of pressure, people's expectations.
Right.
It was the first time I was working with a budget. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was a big blessing, man. I felt like I had a lot of good support, a lot of good people around me.
With that pressure that you're talking about, now there's this level of expectation, right? Yeah. Now you have this new identity. Yeah. You were a photographer, and you still are a photographer.
Yes.
But you're hold that mic up and say yes. but you're also now the filmmaker, Khalik Allah, because you got so much positive notice with your first film, and so I can understand there's a new kind of pressure. So what was that next phase like when you're racking your brain and trying to figure out, well, what will the next project look like? And how did you figure that out? Do you remember?
The pressure was more once I already decided on what the film was, right? And began working on it. And
it was after you decided to make Black Mother.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, when I made Feel Niggas and I put that online, on Vimeo and on YouTube, it was out there, and that was September 28th, 2014.
Yeah.
And in January of 2015, I began shooting Black Mother. I didn't have that title or anything, but I
get it.
I just began shooting it.
But did you had a vision for what Black Mother, the seed of it, what it was going to be? Or did you let it come to you more organically as you were making something?
Yo, straight up USDA organic.
Grass fed, right? Free range filmmaking.
Nah, it was a freestyle, man. Like, I started off just with my sensibilities as a photographer, recording images and shooting audio and listening to the audio, and from there it began to kind of show me what it was, and it was one foot in front of another, for many miles before I realized that this is Black Mother, But with this film, I would say I had to navigate the pressure in the sense that, I was almost like, yo, are people gonna jive with this one the same way they jived with the first one? And, kind of comparing and contrasting my own work. And that was a little bogus. Like, you shouldn't be at competition with yourself. So the way I got past that was by saying, nah, this is a continuation.
Oh, okay.
This is just a continuation of my work.
That's true for every filmmaker, right? I mean, that every filmmaker has a story to tell. That's why so many come back to the similar themes each time. I don't know if they repeat themselves, but their themes do. Feel Niggas, your first film, you went to Lexington 125th Street and you shot people that, you just planted yourself there over a course of time, right? This one is much more personal, right?
Yeah, and also, Feel Niggas was one intersection in New York City,
right?
Whereas Black Mother is an entire country.
Jamaica in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Jamaica, I mean. It wasn't just one corner somewhere,
right.
So
it's a corner of the world.
True.
If you want to go there. I'm just saying.
For sure. But
yes.
I mean, it's funny, Jamaica is actually smaller than Long Island.
That is amazing.
Yeah. But as far as its impact on the globe, it's huge. It got a huge history, and its impression through music, of course, is worldwide. You know what I mean? So,
reggae.
The physical, island, the size of it is almost like it's ironic compared to how big Jamaica is. Everywhere I've been with Black Mother, I've been all over the world, man. And I've seen Jamaicans in Sweden, in Copenhagen. I've seen Jamaicans everywhere I went. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of mixed race Jamaicans like me. I didn't know there was so many. You know, I'm half Jamaican, half Iranian. So I met a few of those. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for real. I was in Miami.
Where does that happen? Where did your parents meet?
My parents met in Bristol, England.
Okay.
And shout out to Dogwolf, my UK distributors. They actually brought me to Bristol to screen the film there. I didn't even tell them that that's where my parents met, but it was deep just to be in that hood. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
and,
you have history there.
Yeah. So like, you know, they met there. My pops had like an education visa, and my mom was, you know, studying nursing, you know, to become a registered nurse. And they were in a nightclub, a discotheque, as they would say. And my dad was with his friends, and they were all betting each other who was going to go dance with my mom. And he was the only one that took up the challenge. And here I come, you know, me and my brothers.
So just for curiosity, not that it makes a big difference here, but was it your father that was Iranian?
Yes.
I say because you look, you know, you have a striking look that I can see that.
Well, usually people come up to me speaking Spanish.
Right.
A lot of Dominicans, they see me uptown, they come at me.
Right.
You know, so I guess I'm like Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm somewhere.
You look. You have it's a good look. You could be an actor, and you get a lot of roles. Let's face it. Because you could be in an Israeli film. You could be in.
Yeah, man.
Right?
I'm universal, man. I'm universal. I'm pure spirit. I'm like beyond the physical form. I'm just pure light. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Where does the spirituality come from?
My grandmother. You know, my grandmother, my grandfather. You know, my impressions early on in life. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. You know, and both of them were very deep people.
Your mom's parents?
Yes. You see, I know more of my Jamaican heritage
right.
than my Iranian heritage because, you know, I had closer ties with them growing up in New York. So I was always going to Jamaica anyway. But, you know, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, she actually lived with me my whole childhood. So, you know, when I was doing bad in school, you know, she taught me the difference between then and then. And, you know, just, you know, she had me hooked on phonics. You know, I used to have a crazy lisp. I still do. I still got the crazy slang.
I can't hear it. When you drink or when you are tired, maybe. That's why you always hear. Like if somebody successfully suppressed a speech impediment or an accent, you know, like some people also try to get rid of their accent. Like if you have because like for a Cockney accent, there was a stigma to that, and there's always been a stigma to speech impediments. Let's face it, nobody's proud to have a speech impediment, even though there's nothing, you know, it's perfectly normal.
I used to say yellow like yellow.
Well, some of that is also just lazy. I mean, you know, it's like a street talking. It's like it's the way you talk to each other on the street when you're growing up. I mean, every city has tons of that, like with Italians and Jews. I grew up with lots of kids like that too. But you had a speech impediment, though.
Yeah, I mean, mild. It wasn't anything crazy, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I grew up around so many different people who spoke differently, you know what I'm saying? My father has a heavy Iranian, you know what I'm saying, accent, but he speaks English, you know what I'm saying? Spoke English to me.
Is he still alive? Is he here?
Yeah. He's still alive. Him and my parents, they're still together.
Oh,
God bless them,
right.
You know.
And they're in New York?
Yeah. So, you know, they had 5 boys.
Where else could they live, you know? Where else are they going to live? An Iranian and a Jamaican? Let's face it, New York is like the easiest.
They used to live in Bushwick, and then they moved to Flushing, and from there to Long Island. So, you know, me and my brothers, as we were coming up, it was in Long Island, in Suffolk County, a town called Patchogue.
I remember,
Yeah, so, you know, we went to Bellport School District. Shout out Bellport High School, middle school, elementary school, where I got left back. You know what I mean? And
because of the speech impediment.
Nah, just because
those bastards.
I used to break dance. I was a b-boy, and I was about 12, and these dudes were about 25, 26.
Who?
It was a group called The Next Level, TNL.
Were they? Are you saying they were like a gang or no?
No. It was a breakdancing crew.
Breakdancing crew.
So they would have me in the nightclub, the adult club. They would sneak me in. I would when they were battling.
Right.
I was the secret weapon.
You were the secret weapon, and you were the wild card. And they would pull you out
on school nights.
How long can? Right. So I understand you missed a lot of school, so you're expelled.
So the next morning, I'm not waking up.
No.
You know.
Hold up the mic.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a funny story. How old were you? Like 10?
I was like 12, 13.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
This is like 7th, 8th grade. And,
right.
Smoking weed, hanging out, drinking.
Oh, no.
You know,
really?
Messing with girls at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So,
you
know, when you watch the movie Kids, you know, when you see those kids smoking weed on the couch, that was how it was for me and my brothers and my friends. Like, we were literally, that was our life. When we seen Kids, we didn't think that was anything foreign. We were like, yeah.
Right.
You know, this is something about us. Like
you weren't shocked, in other words.
Exactly.
Yeah. But did you feel at the time? I mean, you were included, and you were obviously part of this little family in a way, or you know that you were accepted into this group, so that had to feel good, even as a kid. But did you feel like? How did you? Let me just ask. In that situation, I mean, was it a little scary for you? Because you were a kid.
It was. You know, I was advanced because I had older brothers.
I see.
So whatever they did, you know, I did too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My first love was skateboarding. You know, from the age of 7, I started skateboarding, and you know, used to kickflip down 10, 15 steps. Used to hit the rails. We was serious with it. You know what I'm saying? I still never broke a bone. But, you know, we went to Woodward in Pennsylvania. Like, you know, shout out Malcolm Watson. He gave me a skateboard when I was a kid.
Did you see mid-90s yet?
Mid-90s?
That movie?
Nah, I haven't seen it.
Jonah Hill directed it. I'm just curious what you would think about it because it's exactly what we're talking about. This is about this little kid who gets caught up with a bunch of older kids. And they take him in and, you know, of course his mother freaks out, but he's like obsessed with skateboarding. And he gets caught, but he gets caught up starts with drugs and alcohol and older girls.
It's funny because the skateboarders are the ones who first put me onto Wu-Tang. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I remember this one dude, his name was Eric Armone. There were 2 Erics. Eric Estrada, this dude used to just knock dudes out. For no reason.
There was a guy named Eric Estrada you knew personally?
Yeah. He
wasn't
not
Chips. Guy.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that one.
He's a little older.
Yeah. He had he was a black kid, but he had like those white patches. What do you call it?
Oh, yes,
vitiligo or something. Right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So his whole body was like that. Uh-huh. And he was a lot older than me. This dude was a legend in the hood. Everybody respected him. He used to just knock people out. And he was the first person to give me weed. You know, I was like a prepubescent, and he was just giving me dimes of weed. So, you know, I remember one day he was like, yo, you should check out this rapper named the Genius, the Jizza. And this is like, you know, I was like maybe 10. And, you know, I remember going up to the Wall. I think there was a record store called The Wall or something like that.
Again, is this in Flushing or is this now on Patchogue?
This is in Long Island.
Okay, so you're already out there.
Yeah, and I picked up Liquid Swords. And this is when it just came out, you know what I mean? So the first album I ever bought was Genius, the Jizza's Liquid Swords. And the funny thing to the whole story is that, you know, me and the Jizza got me into photography. Me and Jizza became really
close
so
he was
friends.
Local? Was he also like local?
Nah.
Okay.
I met him through his older cousin named Freedom.
Okay. What is a Liquid Swords referring to?
It's referring to Mike's skills. It's referring to
Beautiful.
You know like the tongue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, using your words to cut. You know what I'm saying? Verbally.
Yeah.
So these are master architects of the craft of emceeing.
Mm-hmm. I guess flash forward all the way now back to Black Mother. Do you see any? It takes place in Jamaica, almost entirely, or does it all take place? You know where I saw it was at New Directors, so it's a year ago.
Okay, yeah.
I should have insisted on watching it again, but anyway, so it all takes place on Jamaica, right?
The whole movie.
Who are the people in the film?
Well, you know, the film has my family, which was kind of like the starting point of the project. I wanted to make a film about my family that wasn't biographical. You know, I wanted to make a film about family that was universal. So none of it is like, oh, William Case was born on this date in this town, in this parish. It was all the parts of family life which are applicable and universal to all families.
But couldn't you make a personal film too when you're watching some personal film and you're relating to it?
Well, I think the film is very personal.
Okay.
Regardless to it not being biographical, it's a very personal project from the chest. You know, this whole film was a feeling-based thing, and there's actually even a funeral in the film, my own grandfather's funeral. So to me, it was like the most personal thing that I could have made. You know, I did do some commercial work between Phil Niggas and Black Mother, and that's also why I made this film so personal, because I don't want to move too deep in that commercial realm now. In the future, I will. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very well paying, of course. And as a cinematographer, as a filmmaker, you know, you don't always make money to survive off of from your passion project. So sometimes you gotta, you know, make yourself available for commercial work. But when I came to do this one, it was like, yo, what's important to me at this early stage of my career? I got to lay the foundation. You know, I'm 33 now, so I'm trying to be making films when I'm 37, 38, 40, in my 50s, 60s. And, you know, when I'm later in my career, I want people to, yo, what was this second film? Oh, Black Mother, yo, we got to see that. And then they'll say, oh, okay, yo, he was coming real from the early stages, from the beginning. So, you know, it's important to me.
You're building something, right? And you want it to mean something. And you want it to be authentic, and that's something you can look back on and feel proud of, and have people really like respond to it, like any filmmaker would, or any artist. Actually, I understand that, and be true to yourself. You know, I guess that's important. So, you know, because there is an expression, one for them, one for me. You know, you do a project for yourself, like Black Mother, and then you do something for hire, perhaps. You know what I mean? Like you may get hired, whether it's for, you know, it's commercial work, whatever you want to call it, or you may get hired to do a film for a distributor or a studio or something like that. Is that something you would consider doing? Do you think it'd be... If the right,
you know, thing came at me, yeah.
If it were right for you, in other words, the story, you know. Yeah.
I think that, like, you know, I want to explore my own capabilities first. You know, I want to, now that I've done 2 documentaries in this Out of Sync style, I'm going to hold off on doing the 3rd one, and I think I may write a script, you know, and come with my first feature narrative project. You know, I think that's what's next for me. And in the meantime, between now and whenever I'm ready to do that, I'm just going to focus on my photography as well. You know, I got a book out called...
I saw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
in
downstairs.
the lobby.
Yeah,
we're at the Metrograph, by the way, in the in the Lower East Side, where Khalik will be tonight, because it's the opening night of Black Mother, which is going to have a theatrical here at least for 1 week. I mean, okay, so. It's a week, unless of course sometimes they extend things. You never know. Just saying.
Hopefully,
yeah. I also happen to know that you're going to be also presenting Black Mother at the Caribbean Film Series, because I just had on my friend Curtis John and Romola Lucas. You know those guys?
Yeah.
They're going to screen Black Mother also as part of the Caribbean Film Series, which is going to be at BAM.
Yeah, shout them out, because
they
showed me love during Third Horizon Film Festival in Miami. That was like the first time, you know, I screened the movie to an all Caribbean. Well, I did screen it in Curacao, which, you know, was a big deal too. Rotterdam Film Festival puts on a festival in Curacao, but yeah, those folks had brought me out to Miami. I forget what month it was. It could have been last April or something, but it's all hazy. All this traveling I've been up to, and it's a blessing. But it's kind of like, what? Where am I at? Where
right. When it blurs together, then it's not. You're realizing maybe it's not as much of a blessing, because you can't appreciate it at a certain point if you're.
No, I appreciate it, man. When I'm walking, I like to walk a lot, and it all comes back to me as I process it while I'm walking out in Long Island in the woods.
Oh, okay.
You know, I walk a lot in nature, just by myself meetings. Yeah,
decompression. No, that's when you let it all marinate, you know, in your head, and you can sort of process everything that you've just been through, because while it's happening, you don't have that time. You know, I understand.
Exactly. You definitely need to give yourself time and keep a healthy mind. You know, we got to take care of our minds, keep them healthy so that we could make more work. And you know what I mean?
Right. That's
how
the
many
other part of
how
it.
many artists off themselves? A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite photographers, they took themselves off the planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yes. And it's striking with photographers that suicide is so intentional and executed as such. Poor choice of words, but that's what I mean to say. And then I was thinking about this the other day as all of the musicians, such an enormous number, all of our favorite musicians have died prematurely. I mean, how many great musicians, how many of those extraordinary musicians have died naturally of old age?
very few.
You know what I'm saying? So it's, but in those cases, it's like one after another. Every
don't
week,
process.
They don't process. Maybe you're right.
They're not taking that time.
And whether it's intentional or, here's the thing, the conscious and unconscious, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the day, if they're dying prematurely, it's a suicide.
Right.
It may not be like, oh, I'm going to kill myself and then do it.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be a lot more vague than that.
Yeah.
But they're dead. And it's like from Whitney to Prince, all these people. It's like Tom Petty, who smoked himself to death or something because that guy died and he was like in his 60s and he could have lived another 20 years, 30 years. But I'm just saying, it's a suicide.
I mean, Pac died when he was 25, you know,
Right.
but he got murdered, you know what I'm saying? But in a way,
take it further.
Yeah.
Look at the broader picture.
Biggie,
what was
24.
the life he lived?
He came out with an album called Ready to Die. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is, listen, man, I feel like, you know, there's a life contract that we have for our own life before being born when we agree to certain things. Okay, this is going to happen, that's going to happen for the greater good. Because I believe that everything works together for the greater good of all. Even though we can't see that. Even though when things happen, we're like, damn, that was really bad. But even Trump, that shit has a purpose. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, nothing is
accidental.
I don't say that. I don't say that to make it acceptable because, you know, all errors must be corrected. But everything has a purpose. There's always,
right.
You know, and we don't perceive our own best interest. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't know what's best for us. Certain things that need to happen in order to get to that next place, that next stage of our evolution. You know,
Right, of a consciousness. Right, I agree.
We seem to be moving backward. You know what I'm saying? But are we really? I mean, I got faith in humanity. I really got a lot of faith in my brothers, you know, and in my sisters and in the children. You know, I got faith in everyone, but we got work to do, man. That's the thing. Like, you know, we got to survive. We got to stay healthy. We got to take care of our liver. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, you know, getting cirrhosis and all this shit. We got to, you know, not just from alcohol, but, you know what I mean? Liver cancer, all the organs, man. I'm just focusing on the liver because,
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Because I think, you know, we got to take care of the planet's cancer, too. Because,
there you go.
You know what I mean? Because it's true. It's on a micro level, each individual, and it's on a macro level. There's no difference because what good is it to take care of ourselves if we're destroying the planet in the meantime? It's all one.
It's all one, man.
It's all one.
You got to respect it.
Much more of a philosophical conversation than I tend to have. But your films really do lead people to these kinds of conversations because you force people to think abstractly because your films are abstract, you know? And so I imagine it's almost your Q&As have got to be really something. What are they like? Or do you find that you've done, I'm going to guess, hundreds of Q&As by now?
Yeah.
Or do people have time after seeing either of your films to really think it through, though, and to let it sit and process your films and before the lights go up and all of a sudden they're throwing questions out there? But do they have really time to understand, like, even...
Well, I mean, I gotta give my audiences so much credit because they always surprise me with how deep some of their questions are. They always, you know, make me be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, you saw that? That's how you felt? That's what it made you think? And you know, that makes me feel really good. That kind of, you know, validates, you know, some of my feeling about my own creation when I see that they took it so deeply. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we want, as filmmakers, we want people to see our work and to respect it and then to think about it. But I think that, when they go home and they spend, you know, more time thinking about it, you know, a lot of these people email me. They'll follow me up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
my email is just my name at Gmail, Khalik Allah at gmail.com. So I always tell people.
I'll beep that out. I don't care what you say.
No. Put it out there. Put it out there because,
right.
People could reach out, man. Like when I was coming up, I was reaching out and I'm still coming up. But in the early stages, I used to reach out to so many people and they never hit me back. And,
So you get back to everybody?
I try to. You know what I'm saying? I always start a message and leave it in my drafts. And then there's that one day in the month, where I just hit everybody back. I just clear my drafts.
Right.
So I'll take their first name and be like, yo, peace, whoever. And then I'll come back to it. It may be late, but I always strive to get back to people,
Right.
Yeah. I'm also grateful to the people like, the Wu-Tang brothers, so many of them. Shout out Master Killer. Mm-hmm. I remember RZA, this guy we were playing chess 5 a.m., you know what I'm saying, in the Wu-Tang mansion. And, just that gesture of social equality and, playing the chess game, you know what I'm saying, after, this is when I was making a documentary about Papa Wu, which is his older cousin. That stuck with me, man. RZA, actually, I had his number.
Is this after Film Niggas that you
This
made?
is way before.
Way before.
This is
okay.
like 2009.
Oh, okay.
But, RZA, because I grew up in the 5% Nation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the Wu-Tang brothers deal with that knowledge and that science. So
is that 5% Nation? Is that get back to?
Well, everything.
Sound like a total moron.
The 5%ers were like an outreach center for the growth and development of the youth, starting in Harlem back in the 60s, like 1964.
Gotcha.
So there was a man that was in the Nation of Islam.
That's right. Okay.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
Now I remember the connection. Okay.
So one of the 5%ers, who's a man named Allah Real, who passed away. He was one of my big brothers. Mm-hmm. Back when I was in like 10th grade, I knew him and RZA were friends. I was like, yo, let me get RZA's number. And he gave me RZA's number, and I used to call RZA after high school. Like, after school, I used to just call him, yo, RZA, yo, what's Khalik? Yo, what's up? He used to bill with me for like an hour. He would just talk to me and, yo, what's going on? And
wow.
I think back to that. I'm like, yo, he didn't need to do that. He didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? So
but he passed that on to you. In a sense, right?
Yeah, that made me feel like I got to pay that forward now.
Right,
like, not to put myself on RZA's level at all, but not to say I'm not on a high level either, but just to say that, each one teach one. And like Jamel Shabazz, who's another great brother, incredible photographer, incredible man in general.
Yep.
But his statement, still sharp and still. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He loves to say that.
I remember that Charlie Ahern's documentary about him, and just being really blown away by this guy. This will be a little already happening. I'm going to try to get this on overnight. We're going to put this out there, this podcast. But Black Mother, Grasshopper has put this out, and it's going to be here for a week. Actually, are they doing the theatrical? Are they just doing
Grasshopper's doing it?
Do they have others? Is it going to be out anywhere else theatrically at this point, or
it's not
right away?
Right. Well, there's a bunch of places that are listed on the Grasshopper website, so you could go there and check that out. I'm like I said, I'm just coming from Sweden yesterday. Like, I just got back here. I'm like having the opening tonight. Like, I've been busy. I haven't even really focused. I'm just blessed, man. That's the thing. I'm in a good stream right now. Right. Like, I'm in a good river right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like the salmon run. I'm just a bear in the salmon run right now. There'll be times of drought in the future for me, but right now I'm just collecting.
Just keep your head about you. It sounds like you will. I think you can make it through those droughts just fine if your eyes focused on what you're trying to achieve. It's not. And again, it gets back to that thing about not having time to process. It's like it's the same kind of thing where people look at like quiet periods or less productive periods, or it feels like people aren't responding at that moment in time, and people get very, very scared of that. But it doesn't have to mean more than that. It doesn't have to mean anything.
Right. Those are the times that you take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And
yes, right.
You give thanks. I find that being thankful opens up the creative pathways, in the brain and in the mind. You know what I'm saying? Just being grateful, prayers of thanksgiving in the morning and the evening. Allowing yourself to sit in silence for 10 minutes twice a day, allows you to receive what is trying to contact you. I feel like there's we have a purpose. Everybody's life is purposeful, but a lot of times we don't realize that purpose because we don't open our ears to it. We're pretty much, as humans, we're pretty much blind, deaf, and dumb. And we think that we know it all. We got to really recognize that we're just babies and we don't know anything yet. You know what I'm saying? And silence and sitting in silence, whether you call it meditation or whatever, contemplation or prayer or whatever, is just a way to open up the mind to receive. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants a lot of stuff, but their hands are full with bullshit most of the time. So it's about getting rid of the bullshit and opening up your mind to receive the blessings. You know what I'm saying? Because this has been a big blessing, man. Just sitting here with you, kicking it, talking about my film opening at the Metrograph. Blessings.
Mention also the book because people may want to check out your photography.
Yeah, my book, Souls Against the Concrete, published by University of Texas Press in 2017. It's my first photo book. I'm going to continue. I'm trying to work on my second book. My work is intended to go to the heart of you. It's not really just for the cerebral. And, I am involved in a lot of universities now and a lot of schools. And, I love that. But it's not just on that intellectual level. It's on a psychic level. It's on a spiritual level. You know what I mean? If you choose to see it that way, you could look at it just from an intellectual way too. But my work is for everyone.
Oh, how do people, if they are interested also in seeing Field Niggas, how can they? Is that available? It seems like such a weird movie that you choose to stream, but I'm assuming that would be the way to see it, right?
Well, the thing is,
is it not distributed right now?
It's not distributed yet. Okay. I want it to get a proper release.
It never had the proper release.
Never had the proper release.
It just played festivals.
It just played festivals. It did, play at the IFP Film Center.
Right.
It had like a theatrical run there.
Oh, right. It did, right? They did. That's right. I forgot about that. It's been a few years.
Shout out IFP.
Yes.
But
at the New York
since
Media
then,
Center. Everybody
emails me, can I get a link? And that's what I've been doing, sharing the link and changing the password like every 2 weeks. And, shout out to Grasshopper.
It's one method.
Yeah, they just hosted it on their website for 2 weeks. I think it closes tonight, but it was available. And shout out Mubi. I may go with them. They've been inquiring about potentially hosting it. So, I got to, communicate with them. Yeah. But I love Mubi anyway because they've been supporting me from the beginning. There's certain people and places and institutions that have been supporting me from the beginning.
Right.
So
right. And we'll continue to, whether times are good or otherwise. Right? No, well, that's when somebody's true blue.
Yeah.
And Mubi's great because they also are putting films on their site that you can't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
Congratulations, and let's keep doing this, every so often. It would be
always a pleasure to see you when to speak
Same
with you.
Here. It's great to see you and talk to you after all these years,
Next film, man. Next film will be in some obscure space like this, rapping about
the
new project.
We will. Probably like in in the back of a store or in a bunker. In a bunker. We haven't done that yet. Yeah. Are you going to be in New York City for a while?
I don't even know my schedule, man. I just got back from Europe yesterday, but
right.
I'll be here. You know what I'm saying? New York is my home, man. So
thank you.
Thank you, brother.